What's up, homies? Welcome to another episode of Diary of a Real Reject.
That sounds familiar.
I am here today with a gentleman.
Questionable. Gentleman is questionable.
Question mark. It was dawning on me on the car ride over here.
Mm-hmm.
On all the years we have seen each other in passing, because we've never like hung out. I think we've had one phone call together to talk about YouTube stuff. We've texted, and the entire time I was on the ride, like, what are we going to talk about? Then I realized we have never had like a personal conversation. It's generally been surface.
We've done one podcast episode together.
Years ago, when I was like a totally different human being.
Literally, totally different human being. Yeah, but that's the only time.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was just talking movies. Like that's all we've done.
Yeah,
is off camera and on camera. We either talk about YouTube,
yeah,
or we talk about movies. But I'm like, there's so much I don't know about Adam. The generalization of stuff.
What's your name again?
So Adam is one of a trio for the YouTube channel Heroes Reforged, an amazing reaction channel. You guys are getting a lot of love.
Thanks.
A lot of jealous love on my end.
Whoa, really?
Simmering. Dan Trachtenberg interview. Simon Pegg shouting you guys out.
That
on
was
Instagram.
crazy. That was nuts.
Damn you. No, congratulations.
Thank
it's really
you.
cool. It's well deserved. You, Hector, Augustine?
God
dang it. Hlavac?
Yep. We'll go with that.
Hlavac. This is how little I know about you.
It's
I don't
okay.
even pronounce your last name.
No, trust me. I have friends that I've been friends with for like 20 years, and they're still like, Hlavac? And I'm like, sure, Hlavac. Mark Ellis has ruined my name in every Schmodown. So any Schmodown you watch and I'm on it, it's always wrong.
That's right. We
still love him.
We even crossed paths in the Schmodown.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
Well, look, I want to get to know you on a more personal level. And of course, we're going to monetize this personal conversation.
Of course.
And
everything we do.
I thought, let's do something different. I want to start off with like, let's call them survey questions.
Okay.
All right. So first, let's get a couple generals out of the way.
Okay.
The generals. Like,
is this like going to a theater early to do a survey on a movie and I get a gift card at the end? Is that what's happening here?
That's exactly you know what you signed up for. Where were you born? What city?
San Diego, born and raised.
And you're still there?
Well, I was there up until I was in my early 20s. And then I was here from then until about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm back there now.
So San Diego, what's her ethnicity?
I'm Czech.
Would not have guessed that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What would you have guessed?
I would have just guessed Latino based off of the crew from Heroes Reforged. Yeah. I'm like, that must be a trio of Latinos over here. Yeah.
We're technically the Czechicans. I'm Czech, they're Mexican. So Augustine just merged it together and we became Czechicans.
Czechicans.
Yeah. We even had a second channel for a little bit called Czechicans, but because no one can spell it, we changed it.
Okay. All right. Now, I want to get to know you on this level here when it comes to your relationship with movies and shows, because when I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter, I love seeing everything that you talk about because you are clearly a cinephile, and especially for the technical aspects. I feel like when it comes to the love for IMAX, we have a similar shared kinship when it comes to that. But where did that stem from, this love for movies? Was it an isolated experience growing up, or was it something with your family that you had? How big is your family? Do you have brothers, sisters?
I have one brother, but my family's really, really close. So I always lived within a mile and a half of my aunt, uncle, cousins, and grandparents.
Gotcha.
So we always did stuff together. So it's really a family, my mom, my brother, and I, but really it's like all 12 of us or 10 of us, or however many there are now.
Dad wasn't around?
No.
Gotcha.
No.
Did you watch movies with your mom growing up?
The whole family, yeah. We always watched movies together. They had, I think, like 2 or 3 drawers of VHS tapes.
Hell yeah.
Where they recorded a ton of stuff from like 80s and 90s, St. Elmo's Fire, Back to the Future, Batman, all that stuff. So we would watch that all the time. And then we used to go to the movies a lot, especially once I was old enough, pretty much old enough to go watch PG-13 stuff. Like by the age of 10, we were going to the movies a lot, all the time. And it was great. I loved it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was the financial status of your household, was it not low income, medium income?
It varied a lot. It would kind of depend. It was usually, I would say usually in the middle, lower class. But it would go like this. It would depend on like, you know, whether my mom had a great job or she would lose her job, you know, it just no different than how it is now, I feel like, in a lot of ways.
Oh, I see.
So if we couldn't afford to go to the movies, we watched a lot of movies at home. And if for whatever reason we could go, we would go. And, you know, I would imagine, I don't know, tickets were like $3-4 back then.
Much cheaper. Yeah.
Much cheaper. And I think even if we were making less money, it was still a cheaper thing to go do than like, I don't know, a concert or something.
Yeah, yeah. I would say the same for us. Like, we didn't really travel or go out. We went to Denny's all the time. Like Denny's was like the cheapest restaurant we go to, and I still have like a love for Denny's in my heart. Like, it'll never go away.
Moon's over my hammy, baby.
Yeah, it's the best. Denny's and the movies were the thing because of how affordable they were. And do you know what like one of the first early movies when you think about it, like let me rephrase this. What is a movie that when you watch it, you think about an experience with your family?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say the biggest ones. There's a couple. It's not just one. Coming to America is a big one. Beverly Hills Cop, yeah.
Eddie Murphy. Okay.
My grandpa loved Eddie Murphy. So we would watch Beverly Hills Cop and Coming to America probably more times than I should have been allowed to watch at like 10 or 11. And I would recite some of like the funnier lines, or like I would do the barbershop scene and my grandpa would just crack up. He'd be dying. Wow. So that was kind of like our interaction with movies. I was like a parrot when I was a kid. I could watch a movie 2-3 times and I could recite whole scenes. So that was part of the experience. My family would love to just watch movies just to see like what kind of nonsense I would come out of my mouth while I watch them.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That strikes me as someone who would want to be like a performer then growing up. Did you want to be a performer?
I think I would have been. The problem is that I was incredibly shy as a kid. I had plenty of opportunities to do school plays, and I was great at, like I went and I did an audition for a Pepsi commercial. I was really good at memorizing. For whatever reason, like I don't know about now, as I'm getting older, it's a little harder. But as a kid, I used to know all the opening crawls for all 6 Star Wars movies as a kid.
Yeah, really?
Now I don't, but it was nuts. I could be in the theater, and as it was scroll through, I'd be ahead of it, and I would know the whole thing. So I had a pretty good photographic memory, and I think that helped when I would read scripts. But yeah, I don't know. I think I was just way too shy as a kid. I hated doing presentations in front of the class. So when it came time to do YouTube stuff, that was a terrifying thing to even consider. And it took a long time to get past it. Like now, no joke, I could do a Hall H panel and it wouldn't even faze me. But
that's impressive.
Yeah, but if I told 8-year-old me that I was going to do that one day, he'd probably start crying in a corner. Like I was terrified.
Do you find like been doing YouTube that it has helped you be more of an expressive individual?
Totally. 100%. I still remember going to Comic-Con, and this was maybe like 2013, and I had not done YouTube yet, but I was watching other YouTubers and I'd go to meetups. I would get anxiety, like socially awkward. They would like see me and they'd start to come over to me. I'm like, oh God, I have to interact with these people. And it was people that like did AMC Movie Talk, you know, like Christian and all those guys. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. What do I do? Help me. My heart is racing out of my body. I'm going to die. And now it doesn't even, it's so weird. It doesn't even faze me. But you know, it's also been 10 years that we've been doing this. So that also helps.
I'm going to wait for this sound to go away. Wow. I don't understand. This has never happened before. I can't ask.
Who the fuck is washing their hands right now?
Yeah, I know, right? There's a whole team of people there. This is really bad. I'm trying not to get frustrated. Let's leave this in the video.
Let's leave it in
the video.
Bleep me out if you need to.
Let's leave that part in there because there's been so many technical problems since we got this space. It has been nonstop and is a part of the game. And this is the first time we're encountering this where the pipes are now bleeding into the microphone, and there's a whole bunch of people here. I can't like just can no one use the bathroom for like an hour?
If you need to go in your car. I don't know what to tell you.
And this is part of sort of what we were talking about before we were filming, is especially when you have like a camera pointed at you and this is like not a scripted thing.
Yeah.
In this moment, I'm getting heated. I'm getting really I'm getting really upset, and I'm also like, but I need to engage with Adam, and I need to be like a professional here, and I don't want to like come across angry on camera, but because it's going to ruin the moment. But this is like part of the combativeness, because what you and I were talking about beforehand is how what a lot of people don't realize with the reaction channels, not a lot of them today that are new, but there it is again.
Who the hell?
Who the damn you?
Use wipes.
I know.
Use wet wipes.
But back then, most people who would start reaction channels didn't hire editors. A lot of times, a lot of people still don't, but most of us had to learn how to edit in order to do it. Like a lot of most of YouTube, most of the time Real Reach existed, I was the main editor. And when we're filming like movie reactions or show reactions, a big part of us performing, I guess, is we're aware of the edit while we're doing it.
Totally.
So then it could like mess with when we have to be engaged or be feeling something, when something's going wrong, or you're aware of what someone else is doing or saying. And so when something like this is happening, I'm like thinking about the edit. I gotta remind the sound people. I gotta do all these
time code this 12 minutes into my brain.
Yeah. So what would you say? Let me just transition then to the reaction side. How have you been enjoying doing the reaction videos?
It's a love. I wouldn't say it's a love-hate relationship. That's too exaggerated, but it definitely goes up and down. Like there's moments where I'm like, this is so fun. I love doing this. And I've definitely had moments where I'm like, is this my last week of doing YouTube? Am I sick and tired of this? Because it's exactly what you said. A lot of times we're our own tech people. We're our own editors, and you'll set everything up, you'll put everything in focus, you'll hit record on the computer, and you start recording, and you realize you didn't hit record on the goddamn sound recorder.
Yep.
And you see the red light, and you're like, if I just go over there, we're leaving everything in the edit, baby.
I just literally spilled all this tea on me. Like,
we're spilling the tea, literally and figuratively.
I was like, he's going. I'm gonna take a little sip here right now. And the whole lid just came up.
Oh my god!
My god! This is the most chaotic interview I've done.
This is my favorite podcast I've ever done in my life. This is great.
Just came out of the washer and dryer everything this morning. God. Please continue, Adam. We are going to get this on track no matter what.
Oh, this is amazing. But yeah, you're sitting there and you're realizing, the button is red, not green. What do? Do I slyly just go over and tap? Because now I'm going to distract everybody around me.
Yeah.
And they're going to go, oh, are we not recording? And then it's going to kill the whole momentum. Or do you just let it go and you're like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out how to use the audio from the camera, clean it up somehow, and then figure it out. And you find those moments where you're like, okay, now I'm good. And everybody, oh, is everything good? You're like, yep, everything's fine. And you just keep going. But that's the biggest thing is you have to be your own QC, your own editor, your own tech person. Sometimes that's exhausting.
Yeah.
Really exhausting, especially when the setups get more complicated, or it's like, hey, this week we're going to have 6 people in the studio for a podcast. Great. We have 4 inputs for our Rodecaster or whatever, our sound recorder. How do we do this?
Yeah.
It's like you're always troubleshooting all the time.
Yeah, it was interesting. I had I interviewed the cast of K-pop Demon Hunters and the lead actress Arden Cho, who's like doing all this work and like movies and shows. She's like, people. I didn't say anything to her about it because she had her own YouTube channel, and she was because like she's a really fantastic actress who's working on these huge projects right now. And she's like, no, she was telling how like she doesn't want to commit to the YouTube side because she's like, people don't realize how difficult it is. And I understand, like when you're looking at reaction video or even podcasting, like this, the idea is supposed to look, they call it effortless for a reason. Right. Because it's supposed to look like it takes no effort.
Right. Which it can. Yeah. You can do with no effort.
Yeah.
But then people are going to complain. It looks like crap. It sounds terrible. I can't hear anything. It's like to get it to a point where everything looks and sounds clear.
Yeah.
It is effort.
Yeah. And also the other side of what I was saying beforehand is professional feeler is what I was saying because I once heard of that as an acting term. You got to be a professional feeler. And I kind of feel like that's what reaction videos, at least my personal belief, is a big core of why I love doing reaction videos is, I feel more engaged in a movie these days more when I'm doing a reaction than when I'm at home.
Sure.
Because I'm not
no
distracted.
distractions. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like either the movie theater or doing a movie reaction or a show reaction, because my observant eye is like, I can't be anywhere else but in this thing. So it is like the movie and show is now my scene partner in a way, and I'm feeling off and feeding off of that. And it does become this like expression exercise. And the question of like, what is an authentic reaction is like such a bizarre thing to me, because it's like some people want you to kind of just be like, no, we want it to be like there's a hidden camera in there and people don't know that you're there. But I'm like, no, it's not that. I'm aware there's a camera here and I'm sharing an emotional experience, whether that be happy, joy, sad, angry, whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of just like going on a tangent in my own mind just to lead to this. What has been your emotional experience with the actual reaction videos itself? Have you found like worth or purpose at all in doing the actual reaction videos, or are you just kind of producing content right now?
No, I surprisingly, because it was when we started doing it, it was just trailers for the longest time. Yeah. We did trailers and then we did movie reviews. Truthfully, a lot of it came from because I watched you guys. I watched you and John do stuff. And I was like, oh, they're doing trailer reactions and those seem to be doing well. Like, we should try it out. And then we were like, no TV shows. It's too much of a commitment. I don't want to do 26 episodes of The Flash. I think I'll burn out. But eventually once COVID happened, all that stuff, we started doing it. And I found a lot of joy in doing it, which really surprised me because I didn't think I would. I thought, am I going to feel like I have to like hem this up?
Right.
Because I've never engaged with my media like that. Because when you go to the theater, you're having a one-to-one relationship with what you're watching, and your reaction, you don't really pay attention to what your reaction is necessarily. If it makes you laugh, but you don't pay attention at what level you're, but it's different when you're on camera and there's people around you and you're talking about what's happening, and then someone says something funny in the movie and you all start laughing, and like his laugh makes me laugh even more. So it's a very different experience. And I've definitely have enjoyed it quite a bit, especially when it's something that is really surprising. Like we watched the first episode of Invincible season 1, and we were reading the comic book at the same time, and they moved some of the events around. And when you get to the end of that first episode, and Omni-Man just starts to like murder everyone, we were like, oh my God, they're doing this now. And it was like the way it was animated and everything. So I think it really just depends on I think your environment has a huge influence, but it is also like, what are you watching? And is it something that you're really into? Because we tend to try to not watch things that we know out the gate will be like, I don't think you're going to be into this. As much as our audience is like, please watch this. I'm like, it's either it's like a genre that I'm not into or a style of filmmaking I'm not into. Sometimes it's a filmmaker, but that's not usually the case. But yeah, I feel like 9 times out of 10, everything that we watch, we're really engaged. And I think it helps that we're together watching it. And we're not in the same room a lot of the time, but when we are or when we're not, at this point, it hasn't really influenced our reactions in a negative way, I don't think.
There was one thing I wanted to talk with you about, because we have teetered on this subject in our passings. I think I even brought it up when before the screening of Fantastic Four, because you were like, you brought up Jurassic World, and I was like, oh no, I had to. I'm one of the people assigned
when
to
we were in
react
line
to
getting
it.
popcorn.
And I was like, I'm the one assigned to react to it. I can't watch it, and I am very particular about like, if it's going to be a movie reaction, I have to skip it. And as you've been growing in this game of the reaction stuff, because I've seen it happen with people. I've talked to media nights about it, where it's like, all right, we skipped Deadpool and Wolverine, but no more Marvel. But then I see them still skipping the Marvel movies because it's like, it becomes, you're hooked into it. And my personal opinion with me, it becomes conflicting, because of course I love the theatrical experience. It's a big part of what's influenced me. But then sometimes I do have that feeling where when I am watching, I'm like, oh, I wish I was doing a reaction so I could share this experience. Like, it was weird. Like, I love Thunderbolts. It's probably one of my favorite Marvel movies. And to be able to do the reaction for it, then go into this deep dive conversation, I was so happy I did a reaction and didn't see it in the theaters the first time. But where are your feelings on this? That's my quick opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even have a solid opinion. I'm constantly in battle mode about it. But what is your feelings about it?
I was not in battle mode as much about it as I have been in the last like 3 to 6 months. Because a lot of we'll like, for example, we watched Deadpool and Wolverine in the theater, and then when it came out on streaming, we rewatched it. And the audience was very torn about that. They were like, why are you doing this? You already saw it. Don't even bother. I'm like, oh, so is my opinion no longer valid about the movie? So then I started to think of like, well, what if I just waited until it came out on VOD? I struggle with it so much because I love the theatrical experience so much. And like you mentioned at the very top of us talking, I'm a format guy. Like if something's available on IMAX 70 millimeter, I know how rare that is. And I know that's incredibly limited. So I want to go see it that way. I don't want to risk waiting until something comes out on VOD to then try to find, oh, maybe they'll do a re-release in a year. I really want to experience it the way that it was kind of meant to be experienced. So for something like The Odyssey, would that drive a lot of viewership to a first-time movie reaction? Hell yeah, it would. If I waited all the way, because with Oppenheimer, I think we waited like 8 months or something before it was on streaming. I don't know if I have it in me to wait because I just care so much about the community experience of watching it together in a theater, which has gotten us thinking in the last couple of weeks of like, what if we rented a theater while the movie's out? And recorded something in the theater.
Maybe Real Rejects and Heroes Reforged.
Who would let us do that?
Jump in on this game because, of course, we've had the thought as well. Like, what is the version where this is accessible? You know, like, because it's like with the VOD side, just to sidetrack a little bit here. What I think reaction channels have contributed to, like, not just like us, I'm talking like reaction channels in general who wait for the VOD specifically, is that the VOD has a bad rep often. You know, it's a lot of times it goes to VOD like so early because it's not doing well in theater, so then it looks like second fiddle. People are like, why would I pay for this? I should just wait on streaming. So it's kind of in this weird purgatory where people don't really know what to do. But most reaction channels have a Patreon where you can do a full watch along. And so many times people will tell us, we bought this movie, we rented this movie because we wanted to do the watch along with you. Like, I can't tell you how many times we see that comment. And studios, that is one of the ways they rely on a movie to gain. If they don't meet that threshold in the theaters, they're going to want to meet it on VOD in some way. And so to me, I'm like, oh, we are in our own way, like actually helping to contribute to the studio or the movie in a way. So I like that helpful side to it. But then again, there's that it is the experience side where the conflict does rise within, because it's like there's always an excuse. When I was doing this, when it was just me for most of it, or it was primarily just me. I don't think it was like a situation where it was only me, but it was primarily just me. You know, I'm self-concerned about my own bills and survival. And then whenever more people get brought on board, I'm like, then I'm super concerned about everyone else, like all the time. And the bigger this has gotten, and now that we have an off, I'm so concerned about everyone. And making sure everything's going. So then I'm like, oh, but we need to definitely still keep this like VOD thing going, and everyone wants to see Odyssey. And we're at a point where like, I'm like, am I going to be the one who has to skip Odyssey? You know? So it's just
those, those are conversations we have too of like, well, if I don't go see it, will you go see it? Or like, because then the whole conversation also is like, well, what if we put a out of the theater reaction on YouTube? Is that like still worth doing? Is it not worth doing? Because with us, it's only 3. So it's like, who's gonna be the guy who takes the hit? And is gonna be the one to see it. And we struggle with that literally every week. Every week we talk like, are you gonna go see this movie? Okay, should I go see it? Should we wait till VOD? I think out of the 3 of us, I'm the most unwilling to budge. I want to go to the theater to see it. Augustine is the one who's the most like, I'll wait and watch it on the channel. Hector,
that's my John and Andrew.
Hector's very much like, depends on the movie. If it's in 3D, because we also love 3D. 3D Blu-rays are hard to get. They're also only in theaters for a set amount of time. So it's like, but if I don't see it in 3D in the first 5 days, I may never see it again. It may never get a release. or we have to import it from Japan. It's going to take 6 months to get it or whatever. So yeah, we struggle with that a lot. And I would like to do more of it. I think for me, it's really just going to come down to, it just has to be movies that fly under the radar, or I hate to say it, but I don't feel as precious about seeing in a theater.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got me, like, I just had a thought that I don't know if I've ever quite had this thought as we were talking, is when I was first doing this, essentially, like in my ex-girlfriend's back house secretly, and then eventually in like, it was called a one-bedroom apartment, but really it was a studio apartment with a wall.
Yep.
And doing it there, and not going to college, or I don't have a high school diploma or anything. I've made this channel. I put it first before everything in my life. I made this the first. This is my Real Rejects is my baby.
Yeah. Every time we've talked about it, you're always like, gotta do for the channel, for the channel. Like, I get it, dude.
Still me, and that's what like the love-hate, when I hear Eminem talk about his love-hate relationship with rap, that's what I'm like, I kind of get that with YouTube. It's like, oh yeah, it's messed with my personal life, it's messed with my relationship at times, it's messed with all that, and now it's like, oh, this movie experience side too. I'm like, oh, I really need to be better about understanding that as well, because I do treasure it. And we try to make up for something. Like for Superman, I was like, okay, if I'm not going to do a reaction to it, well, let's do the theater. Let's do the spoiler review. Let's do a live stream. Let's do all the things that to like, how else can we derive an experience out of this that if we're not going to do the reaction side to it?
You guys are very good at doing that. You guys are really good at like taking one movie and figuring out how to like take every experience out of it and put it out there for people, whether it's out of the theater or a theater review or doing a VOD reaction or whatever. We are horrible at that. Really bad at that.
I think though, as you guys as hosts though, and as sincere communicators, I think you guys are like fucking awesome. And there's a reason why Simon Pegg shouted you guys out. Out of like a billion people did trailer reactions. Yeah, there's a reason that you guys specifically were shouted out. Yeah, damn you to hell. How do you feel like doing reaction videos has helped you learn about yourself?
I think it's expanded my tastes a lot more.
Okay.
I was not against animation, but I wasn't as into animation.
This is crazy. This is kind of common. Please continue.
Yeah. I feel like it's common for a lot of people. And I definitely was not one of those. I definitely was not someone who thought that animation was exclusively for kids.
Right.
But, and I'm discovering this still. I'm discovering that even something as beautiful as CG animation, it doesn't really have as strong of an emotional impact on me than if it's like 2D animated or it's made to look like 2D animation.
Sure.
Which is really interesting and weird. And I wonder if that's a part of the reason why I've also, for a big chunk of my life, didn't embrace animation as much. Because I primarily grew up on horror and superheroes. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I think the animation thing is very, very interesting, but I'm definitely loving it a lot more. Like we watched Gendy's movie Fixed. I have not laughed that hard in such a long time, but it is interesting that for a lot of people, animation is that one thing that they're kind of like, I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah.
It's not something they fully like embrace immediately.
I think I would actually meet you there on my relationship with animation. I've always liked animation movies, but I don't think the way I can talk about them now and the way my soul just sort of gravitates towards it is very different after starting to do reaction videos or even doing reviews for it too. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, and I'm also lucky because Augustine and Hector went to animation school. That's how they met.
Yeah, so they could really speak the dialogue and give you the appreciation.
Yeah. So they really changed my perspective on animation because they started showing me stuff that's not like, because in my brain for a long time, I think of animation, I thought Disney or Pixar or, but then they started exposing me to stuff. And then just through the people I started to meet over the last, 15 years that I lived in LA, they introduced me to things, especially from animation from other parts of the world. And then you really start to realize the potential of what animation can do on a storytelling level. And you're like, oh, cool. My problem was me. I was setting up my own boundaries.
Yeah.
And now that like I've been exposed to so much more stuff, there's a lot of cool shit out there.
There's this weird subconscious thing that I think kicks in with people where they feel like there's a disconnect because they're not human beings you're looking at.
Yeah.
But sometimes an experience can feel more human depending on how good the animation is. Actually,
Totally. I still cry every time I watch The Iron Giant, and it gets to the end, and I'm like, why? It's great.
What movies are the ones that make you cry? Is there was there movies besides Iron Giant? What movie is it that like every time you watch it, you're bound to break a tear?
Ooh, damn, that's a good question. Sometimes, not every time I watch it, but every once in a while, I'll watch Chef.
Okay.
I love Chef so much. Okay. I feel like it's an underrated movie, but there's just moments where Carl Casper and his son have like little moments that I don't know what it is about them. I don't know if it's the way that they play them or the way that they're written or the way it just feels so authentic that I'm like, why is this hitting me emotionally so much? Maybe it's some deep trauma in my life that I haven't resolved yet, but there's just moments in that movie. And I'm trying to think of like what other movies have really moved me emotionally. I feel like there's something that I watched in the last 6 months, but I've watched so much stuff that I can't think of anything specific. Usually if there's an animal involved, usually it'll get me, like the Triceratops in Jurassic Park. I'm like, why am I so sad? Why am I emotional? What's happening to me? But I can't really think of anything that had like a huge significant impact on me that has stuck with me for like 30 years.
Parental stuff gets you to cry?
Sometimes.
I mean, what's it about Iron Giant that gets you?
I think because that movie is so, well, I think part of it was also, I knew the backstory a little bit of like Brad Bird's reasoning for why he like made that movie and what happened to his, I think it was his sister who like died by gun violence and stuff. So I think I brought a lot of that emotion, but I think it's also just the way it's written so sweetly. And I'm a big Superman fan. So to have the Iron Giant kind of embrace what that character is at the end when he sacrifices himself, I don't know, it just like really moved me. It was really moving and emotional. Yeah.
I don't know the backstory there.
With the movie?
Well, yeah.
I don't completely remember it, but if I remember correctly, I think Brad Bird's sister was either murdered.
Okay.
Or in a car accident or something like that. And so like one of the underlying themes of that movie is like being kind of anti-gun or being anti-weapon. And I think when I watched that, I was at a convention somewhere and he had just told that story. And then we watched the movie and I think I just brought all that emotional baggage with me. And I was like, Brad Bird, why? Why, Brad? Why?
That's what I love about movies, though, is that subjective experience. Is like we bring who we are to that viewing experience. So it's so, please.
Hook. I went to the Vista Theater and I saw Hook. And this was maybe 3-4 years after Robin Williams died. And the moment he comes out of that cave as Peter Pan, I was like a sobbing mess, you know, because I think it's, for me, it's all those, I think about all the movies that I've seen him in as a kid, or I think about the first time I saw Hook as a kid. So I feel like for me, it's not necessarily the movie doing it. It's my emotional baggage that I'm bringing to the movie. Yeah.
This is really interesting to me. So I don't ever want to like push a button too far, especially when there's a camera rolling. It's always up to you if you want to, how personal you want to get about stuff. You said your dad wasn't around. Did you find forming like male, masculine identity, whatever the hell you want to call it, do you find yourself ever, and you were also sounding like you were a bit of like, you said you called yourself parrot. So you're a bit of a sponge when it came to some of these personality types. What personalities from characters do you think you, looking back, that you were probably absorbing in some way that shaped Adam?
Whoa. That's a good question. Well, I will say that even though my dad was not around, I had a really strong relationship with my grandfather. Yeah, incredibly strong. To the point when people are like, "Oh, you didn't have a dad growing up?" I'm like, "No, I had a grandpa." My grandparents are like my second set of parents. So that was a big part of it. And that was a huge, so I think maybe there's a lot in that relationship that I had that when I see father-son stuff, it kind of hits me because I think of him.
Yeah.
But if I think of characters specifically from movies, I was thinking about this because I've watched some of your other episodes and I know you've asked similar questions. And I was thinking about this, like, is there any character that I feel like I've really like pulled from? And I don't know, honestly, if there is a movie character. Even though I am a bit of a parrot and I would sponge up a lot of stuff. If anything, I feel like Superman in some ways, just kind of like the character, the person that he tries to be good and always make the right decisions, which like it's also kind of an impossible thing to do. Yeah. But he also is that character who tries as much as he can, and it's not always, doesn't always work out that way. But I would always look at that character and go, okay, well, if I don't want to be in a situation where there's a bad outcome, do the right thing. And, you know, sometimes as a kid you make the wrong decisions, but yeah, but I don't know if there's any other particular character that I can cite to and go, that's a huge character that like inspired me, other than some characters that I've read in comics.
So you were talking about the moral direction of Superman just there. Why does that why'd you gravitate to that so much? Does that counteract some other aspects of your personal life where you felt like you had to adopt that, or is it more reflective of how you were already being raised?
I think it was definitely reflective of how I was already being raised. Because the one advantage that I feel like I had growing up was my brother was not born until I was 12.
Okay.
So I spent most of my childhood with adults all the time. So they never treated me like a kid. I was usually treated mostly like an adult. So they kind of expected that respect back. Okay. And I feel like because I was never really like babied, I was pretty mature at a much younger age than I think. I mean, I look at my brother, and I love my brother, but my mom definitely babied him a lot more than me. You know, like doing things for him. I'm like, he's going to be 20 soon. Like, he can do his own laundry at this point. Come on. But yeah, so I think that was a huge advantage for me. And I think also I just loved the look of that character. So I got really invested in reading comics about that character and just understanding who he was. And I would read those stories and go, oh, this guy is like, he's really just like a good guy. He tries to make the best decisions. He tries to treat everybody with respect. He treats people the way that he would want to be treated. And if he sees someone doing something wrong, he'll call it out, or he'll what's the word I'm looking for? He basically, oh my God, what is the word that I'm thinking of?
I'll let you find it, or describe for me a direction here, because I can't read your mind.
Not approaches it. He addresses it. Jesus Christ. What is happening today? What is in the water going around in this building? But yeah, he's not afraid to address it head on and really like have a strong stance on something, against something, if he knows that it's going to like hurt people. So I feel like in a lot of ways I tried to apply that through my life. But you know, things happen when you're a kid. Sometimes you're bullied or whatever, and you take those aggressions out on other people, and then you grow up and you're like, oh, well, that was a dumb decision.
Were you bullied?
Oh yeah. Really? But I will say I was bullied quite a bit, because even though I'm born in the United States, people were like, where's your family from? Check. Where is that? In Europe. Is that like Russia? I'm like, it's like Central Europe, surrounded by like Germany and Austria and Poland. Where's that? I'm like, oh my God. So I'd have people over for birthdays sometimes, and you know, like the things that we make are a little different. Like we don't have pizza for birthdays. We had open-faced sandwiches, you know, like different types, you know, just different cuisines and
freaks.
Stuff. Yeah. Like people, like kids will go to school and they're like, yeah, I had weird food. I'm like, it's just bread with ham and cheese. What's weird about that? I don't know.
You think about a pizza, it's kind of the same thing.
It is literally
the same
it's
thing.
Baked.
Yeah.
The only difference is baked. So like I would get bullied for more of like my background, and that like we had weird stuff. But I was also pretty lucky that I was tall for the majority of my life. So I would tower over everybody else. So people would pick on me, but they usually most of the time do it behind my back, because they're like, I don't want to mess with this kid. Not that I was interested in getting in fights anyway. I was not.
How were you were speaking about like Superman being willing to speak up. That's the thing about why one of the many reasons I love my wife so much. She has no issue, like not a moment's hesitation to speak up. I can be in my head and sometimes take a while, you know, something as little as like, I'll give this guy like 45 more chances before I tell him to put his cell phone away. Like, you know, something like that. When you were growing up, did you find it natural to speak up, or is that something you still kind of combat with when you find yourself in a position, or do you kind of retreat internally?
I think I've been through literally all phases. I think as I was younger, I was one of those kids that if there was a line of kids at the slide, I'd be the kid to let all the other kids go.
You're so nice.
Yeah, I was that kid. And my mom would go down the goddamn slide. Yeah, you've been standing there for 20 minutes. I'm like, no, let them go. So I was that kid. And then I feel like as I got older, I retreated. I was like, I don't want to address this. I don't want to deal with it. And I think that carried over probably like into my mid 20s.
Okay.
And then I think once I turned, I don't know when exactly, but as of like my 30s, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I got a problem with someone, I'll just tell them.
Hell
you
yeah.
know, or if someone's doing something I don't like, I'm like, hey, don't do that. You know, I care much less now, but I still am like lenient in a lot of ways that I probably shouldn't be. The same thing of like, I told you 4 times to get off your phone. Yeah. And now it's the 5th time and now I'm pissed.
Yeah.
But can you please get off your phone? You know, like it's that thing. So yeah, I've been through every version.
I'll credit you though. So before I do anything like this, I sometimes think about like, what am I going to say in the intro? And I never end up saying what I'm rehearsing in the car. I never do. Yeah. Because I want what I say to come from a genuine. So I'm always like trying to find like, what is the genuine thing that I really want to say? And as you were talking, it was reminding me of what I was saying in my head, saying out loud on the car ride over here. That was speaking from the heart, which is you are undoubtedly one of the nicest people I have ever encountered in this space. And Thanks, and the other word that I was thinking too, and it's funny you said this with Superman, was you are also been one of the most respectful people in this space. Like I go to a lot of these screenings and stuff, and truthfully, this is no dig at anyone. This is really not. I'm not the most comfortable at press screenings. And what I'm especially weirded out by is a lot of people now talk to me who didn't because I'm a little more popular at these things now. You know, I'm not one who likes to be an opportunist and like, let me schmooze to get this thing in our network. And no matter what stage I was at when I think I first met you when you were like working at Screen Junkies,
Geek and Sundry even before that.
Geek and Sundry, that's right, yeah. And you have always been one of the absolute most respectful, nice people.
Thanks.
Ever
this
encountered.
Is awkward.
Let it be.
I'm not good at compliments.
Let it be. Yeah. And so, like I was really relaxed about it. It's funny how much chaos was happening in the first half of this because I was unusually relaxed about having to film with you, even though I'm like, I don't really know anything about Adam. Yeah. But I was really relaxed about having to film because I'm like, this guy has always been so, I've never felt like I have to get you to try to like me anyway.
No. Yeah. Well, it's funny because same with you guys. Like when we go to those things, it sounds dumb. I was like, oh, I wonder if Greg or John or Jabby are going to be here. Like people that I know. Yeah. Because it's a comfort thing. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I saw John at the Predator Killer of Killers thing, I was like, oh, cool. Someone that I know is here. Yeah. Good, great. But every time I see you guys anywhere, I'm like, all right, cool. I feel a little bit more relaxed. 'Cause we've also been doing this for so long that we've seen so many people cycle in and cycle out.
Definitely.
So many different creators, different influencers. The fact that like I'm still going to stuff, I'm kind of surprised sometimes because it's just like the turnover is nuts. But I feel a level of comfort when I see like anyone from your team, whether it's like Roxy or Coy or anybody, and I'm like, okay, cool, my people. That's how I feel. It's like literally my people. Because a lot of times with other influencers, you know, they're in so much of their own like world because they're doing different things than we are. You know, like at least we are primarily just doing YouTube stuff. We're trying to dabble and expand and do more like Instagram, TikTok stuff. But like, that's what those people do primarily. They're not YouTubers. They're like TikTok creators who dabble in YouTube. So a lot of times I try to have conversations with some of them and we just don't have a lot in common because we're doing such different things. You know, like the process of creating content is complex and it takes time and all that stuff. But the type of stuff that you make, it's so different that it sometimes is hard to have like a common thing to talk about. Yeah. Because like, you know, you try to explain them making a reaction video. They're like, yeah, man, I just did like a 90-second sponsorship thing. And I'm like, yeah, I don't get that. I don't understand.
Well, it seems like you gravitate towards something that feels like communal in a way. And I find there's a lot of posturing of someone who wants community, but is really individualistic thinking. And you've never struck me as someone who is selfish or individualistic type of thinking. And that is why I think there's a natural sense of comfort that people have around you, you know? And why do you have a hard time receiving compliments?
I don't know. It just makes me uncomfortable. I think because I'm just in my head too much. I always like think of like, yeah, sure, but I'm sure I could have done something nicer. I could have done something better.
So Superman of you?
Probably not. There probably is nothing. Probably nothing. But in my head, I'm always like, yeah, man, I don't know. Because then I think like, yeah, but I'm going to bug him in 3 days about something, I'm sure. And he's probably going to look at his phone and be like, this asshole's texting me again.
No, man, no. You're one of the few who like that. There are some people who always hit me up wanting something. And that's the only time they hit me up. But that's how I am though. Because I'm like, I really need to just like go hang out with him. Because at this point, if I ask him one more analytics question, he's probably going to go, you figure it out, man. No. No, not you. There's quite a few people in this space, especially in the I have slowly discovered like it is really important actually, because we were talking beforehand. Like you run Heroes Reforged essentially, you know, like it's a team of people, but you essentially run it. You know, there's a team of people, Real Rejects. I essentially run it. And I have noticed like, there is kind of an importance, I think, with people like us who need to be friends with people who also run YouTube channels. Yeah, because there is like just other things beyond creating content that occur from that.
Oh yeah.
That whether it be like weird ad problems or a whole variety. That's just one thing. There's so many. I like my brain is just like.
I mean, I remember this was like a year ago now, but I remember we were having a conversation about like ad breaks and stuff because I could not figure out like what is working, what is not working, how long do our videos need to be, you know? And it's like I feel like I'm like a creature on an island and I have no one to turn to. So I'm like Googling stuff. I'm like, I'm just gonna text Greg. Oh God, I hope he's okay with me asking this question.
But at the same time, it's like you kind of just need people who you can also vent with about a thing that they can understand.
Yeah. And at this point, if I do it one more day with my girlfriend, she might kill me.
my wife is so fucking sick of me. It's like
just go on the. She literally got me an Airbnb for the last week in Burbank so I could just script write because she's like, if I have to listen to you talk about this goddamn script for 5 more minutes, I might kill you.
So the other day, this is true. The other day, so we're shooting this the week of when our Jurassic World Rebirth reaction was supposed to go up. We were here late at night on a Monday. I'd been in recovery because I was really sick over the weekend. I still wasn't feeling great, but I was like, we gotta do it. It's big. It's VOD. We did all the Jurassic Park. We gotta do it. We didn't go to bed till like 2 to 3 in the morning. Woke up. It was blocked. And I told my wife, like, fucking irony that like went there sick and then I did all this and then it got blocked. And she's like, shouldn't you be used to that by now? That's all she said.
Same shit you smell. I've done this before.
Really, I was like, yeah. You know what? I don't need to be pissed about this. It's a bummer. But, at this point.
I know.
I'm like, she's enough anxiety attacks, enough freak out attacks.
It's like, this is the same stuff that happened last week and the week before that. Okay, all right.
Because a lot of times she does humor me and she does like engage with me most of the time. But a lot of times she's been better about she's been stronger than me about you should be used to this by now. Yeah. That's just part of the ebbs and flows of it all.
Right.
Dude, Adam, we're not wrapping this up. That sounds like I'm wrapping it up, but we're not. Well, Adam, good. All right, cool. No, what are we at on time? All right, good. That's perfect. How long have you been with your girlfriend?
How long have I known her?
How long?
22 years.
How long have you guys been together?
3.
Holy crap! Did you have like a crush on her for a long time?
I would say I went through phases. Well, the way that we met was we actually met when I was in 4th grade and she was in 2nd grade. We played tennis together at the same rec center, but I didn't know her.
You played tennis growing up?
Yeah, I did. I played hockey. I played a bunch of stuff.
Oh my God! Is that what they do in San Diego?
That's what I did because that's what my grandpa did growing up. He played soccer and ice hockey.
I don't know anyone who grew up playing like hockey. I know like one person maybe, but hockey and tennis are like, wow, that's
hockey, tennis, basketball. I golfed for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Hockey was really the only one that I really loved.
Okay.
But, Yeah. So, and then I don't know, 10 years later, I started working at a movie theater and her older sister worked there. So I started like hanging out with her sister. And then I like re-met her when she was like, I was 15. So she would have been like 13, got to know her parents. And then we just stayed friends for the last 20 some odd years. And I mean, our lives were like in completely different paths. And then let's see, end of 2022, she got out of a relationship and she slid into my DMs and I was so oblivious that I was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to hang out? Oh, I see what's happening.
Hell yeah.
And it's been great. So easy. Like literally the easiest relationship of my life.
Is she super into movies too?
She was more into movies when she was younger. And then I think as life just drove her in different directions, she kind of got out of it. And now we watch stuff all the time.
What is like which movie or show has been the best bonding experience with her?
Memento was a good one. I've never seen her locked into Memento.
You introduced her to
yeah,
I'm assuming you had seen it already. And
Yeah. She had never seen it, and I was like, we should really watch this. Sometimes I have to convince her a little bit to be willing to watch something. And I was like, I promise, if you're not locked into this movie after 15 minutes, we'll turn it off. She was like this.
Just
for an hour, 45 minutes.
Amazing.
Completely glued. She doesn't do it anymore, but she used to sometimes like check her phone or whatever. No.
How are you when you are showing her a movie and she's checking her phone?
Not great. Put the goddamn thing down. But I now I'm kind of over it, because I'm like, well, whatever, you do you. You're either going to know what's happening or you're not going to know what's happening. But it's been cool. We also went to go see Interstellar in IMAX 70 millimeter. She had never done that before. And she walked out. She was like, oh my God, that was incredible. That became her favorite movie. And then we did the same thing with Sinners. And she's like, I think that's my favorite movie of all time now.
Wow.
So it's been really fun. And I was lucky enough that I came across a projector that usually it like retails for like $5,000. I got on an auction for $1,000. So I set that up. So we have a nice 120-inch projector screen and stuff, and I got a sound system. And I think that also makes a huge difference when you can like really be invested in it and you have like sound happening all around you. I think it really changes other than watching it like on a 40-inch, where you're kind of invested in.
What have you watched because she wanted to watch it?
Friends with Benefits.
Okay, like you didn't want to watch it?
No, not that I didn't want to watch it, but I did not really grow up watching romantic comedies too much. So we watched that. We rewatched stuff like Love Actually and The Holiday, stuff that I had not seen for like an eternity. But yeah, it's like I really enjoyed. And she also likes horror. Oh, so great. We're always trying to find something that we're like, oh, we hadn't seen this. Let's watch this. Like we watched Oddity. We've been trying to watch more stuff on like Shudder. We rewatched The Strangers, the Liv Tyler one. We hadn't seen that since it was out in theaters. So we're always just trying to like dip our toe into something that we've never seen before, or I haven't seen in a really long time that I'm like, I think you'll really like this. Please watch Sicario with me.
Is there... That's fucking great. Is there a couple that you've seen portrayed that you feel is most akin? Like when I see Chandler and Monica and Friends, I'm like, that is a lot like my wife and I. It really is. But when you see, is there a couple that you've seen portrayed where you're like, that reminds me of my girlfriend and I?
Oh man, there probably is. Off the top of my head though, I don't know if I can really think of one.
James Caan and Kathy Bates in Misery.
Oh God. I had not seen that in a while, and we watched that in the cabin for my birthday. That was really fun. No, I don't know. I don't know if there is one. Sometimes I want to say like, yeah, Clark Griswold and his wife, what was her name in the movies?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
The National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh my God, yeah.
Clark Griswold.
No.
Not
that, but you would call it your relationship that?
No, it's not. But like we have such a like quirky fun time doing stuff that it feels like that. But like our personalities are not like that. Yeah, I don't know if I can really think of one off the top of my head. Is that bad? Should I know the answer to this?
No, man. No.
Okay, good.
A lot of my questions, I don't prepare you for any questions. What scares you though? You brought up horror a few times.
Yeah.
Does what actually scares you in horror? Let's backtrack a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you recall what the first like terrifying experience was as a child?
Absolutely. Oh, terrifying experience like in real life? Or in a movie?
Oh, fuck. It's really good.
How much time you got, Greg? Movie-wise, it was Halloween.
Halloween terrified you.
Yeah.
What was it about that scared you?
I think it just felt so real. It felt so real to me, and I think the way that it was shot, and I didn't, I was 9 when I saw it for the first time. I didn't know a thing about cinematography, but there was just something about the image and seeing that white face like slowly come up into the light when she's like pressed against the wall that just terrified me, but I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. So much so that I convinced a teacher in 4th grade to let me borrow her VHS so I could watch it.
Amazing.
And I got my mom to sign a permission slip and everything. My mom had no idea probably what Halloween was. So I'm in my bedroom with the VHS tape and I'm watching this guy murder his sister 3 minutes into the movie, and I'm 9.
Why do you think at that age you liked horror so much?
I have no clue. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. And I think for a while it was just Halloween. But I think it was the way that...
Oh, interesting. So it wasn't like the genre.
No, it was just
one
Halloween. One movie.
Okay.
I think part of it was because I think the first movie that I ever saw in theaters was My Girl.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen My Girl? Oh, wow. I was 4 when it came out, and Jamie Lee Curtis is in that movie. And I think I recognized her in Halloween when I saw her, because I had also seen parts of True Lies up to that point too. So I think there was like probably some kind of a comfort thing seeing an actor that I knew on screen. And I think there was just something sickening and intriguing about that mask. It being so blank and pale. And I don't know, maybe the music too played a big part in it, but it just kept hooking me in every time. Because I used to catch it on AMC Fright Fest when he used to play. And I was like, God damn it. Every time I watch this movie, it's always like at the very end where he's chasing her across the street. So getting that VHS and watching that was really my first sort of like experience of watching truly like something really terrifying. I had seen, I think, Jaws before that.
And didn't quite get you?
No, but it was also like on TBS. And, a lot of that stuff is censored. So that was something that I don't think I saw until like DVD. I was like, oh, that's what that movie is. Oh, it's even better than I remember. But yeah, Halloween, and then from Halloween it went to like Friday the 13th, all the slasher movies, Scream and everything. And I've just kind of kept up with it over the years. But I will say, I think I've also become a bit desensitized to it. Because I'll look at a review of like Together or Weapons, and people are like, it's the scariest thing I've ever seen. It's the scariest movie since The Exorcist. And I go in there, I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, it's good. But I'm not like walking out of the theater ready to throw up.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I get that impression from people when they tweet about it or they talk about it in the videos. I'm like, all right, it's good, but I'm definitely not that freaked out. The one that was really well made was The Host. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
No, I want to watch it.
Pandemic movie.
I do want to watch it.
Yeah, where the whole thing takes place like basically on a Zoom call, and that's really well done. So I think my appreciation for horror, or my expectations, have shifted from please scare me to death to please be well made.
Yeah.
And be interesting and try new stuff. So I kind of feel like that's where I'm at, because even when I watched Together, it wasn't really scary, but I was like, that's really good body horror. That's a really good practical effect or whatever. So I think I'm just appreciating it from a different perspective now.
What is before stuff stopped being scary to you, what was the thing that was consistently scary? Was it the real life stuff? Was it supernatural ever? Did you grow up religious at all?
No.
No religion in your household whatsoever?
No. Like, my family is Catholic just based on, like where their upbringing, but we don't.
Not like practicing going to church every Sunday kind of Catholic.
No. I think body horror was a big one, but also as slasher movies got more gruesome in the 90s, especially once you got to like Friday the 13th Part 8. Like, cool, guts are coming out now. I think that terrified me for a bit there. Possession movies also can be really, really fun. Like The Exorcist, even though I know it's happening, I'm still like, I watch them and go, man, that is so uncomfortable. Like, there's still something that kind of like tickles the inside of my stomach in an uncomfortable way that I'm like, that still gets me. That's still really good.
Ooh, so would you consider yourself an empath?
I don't know. Good question.
Because it's like, it seems like when you're watching these things, you are getting this sensory experience where you're sort of feeling this,
Yeah.
you're getting the tingle.
Yeah, that does happen with movies a lot. Yeah, so maybe, because I love the theatrical experience, and I feel like that's why I try everything I can at home to like recreate that, because I love to just be fully immersed in the movie. I don't want any distractions. I don't want to, I don't want to know what's going on outside. I don't care if the house next door is on fire.
Yeah.
I'm in the movie. So that could very well be a part of it, is like I like the feeling that I get reacting to something or watching something.
Do you feel like it was ever, because I'm hearing so much about it being a bonding experience for you, was it ever an escape for you from anything? What was it an escape for?
Well, when I was 20, well, how old was I? I was 17. My grandpa got sick with cancer.
Okay.
And at the same time, I started working at a movie theater, and I basically lived there. Like, even when I wasn't scheduled to work, I'd go in and watch movies. Or if my shift was over and I didn't have plans with my friends, I would stay and watch movies, because I was just like, I need to just, and it was that, plus it was, relationships with friends or relationships with girls, things, maybe were not working out the way that I thought they would. And I'm like, I'm just going to go watch something. Grindhouse is out. I'm going to go watch that. Yeah. Oh, Inglourious Basterds is out. I'm going to go watch that. Whatever it was, I would just live at that theater. I loved it.
Sounds like John and I just started Severance.
Really?
Just started. And it sounds like that's your Severance experience.
Probably. I haven't seen the show. I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, so that's all I've seen.
Yeah. So, and I watched them like 3 years ago, right, I guess right when it came out. But yeah, I really, and I worked in the projection booth too, which like is a non-existent job at this point.
Yeah.
But I loved it, because it was just me and those film prints.
Yeah.
And I just listened to the projector go all day, and I would just clean film prints. I would like, schedule and figure out stuff, tear down prints, build them up. I loved it. It was my escape from everything.
So how have you been feeling about the way the movie industry has been going lately? Like it seems like directionless to me when I think about it. It's constant zigzagging and information that makes you think something's going to be huge, but it's not. And it's all over the place. And it seems like there's this new territory of content. It doesn't seem like there is. There's this new type of content that's about tearing it down and taking it down. And then there's people who are too positive or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you feel now with, because it's weird. It's like the industry is one thing, and then there's the movie experience itself.
Totally.
And I feel like with what we do with reaction videos, that is about harnessing the experience.
Absolutely.
That emotional thing that should not be fucked with.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But like when you talk about preserving that at home, that theatrical experience.
Yeah, I buy Blu-rays still, guys.
Yeah.
3D Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I'm like completely, totally invested in like trying, because a lot of times people come over, oh, let's just watch. Oh yeah, it's streaming. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You tell me before, and I'll buy the disc, and then we'll watch it.
What do you wish could change about the industry right now, or how are people or audiences with movies?
I think the big thing that I notice is that a lot of people focus way too much on everything else other than the story.
Yeah.
Like what the movie actually is. They worry about the box office. They worry about every detail of the visual effects. They worry about like everyone's a cinematographer now. Everyone's a visual effects artist. And a lot of times I'm like, great, but what did you think about the movie? And people are like, it was fine. Like, yeah, but what did you think? Like, what kind of an emotional impact did it have on you?
Yeah.
Did you walk out of it feeling any certain way? Did it trigger some kind of an emotion? Did it scare you? Did it make you feel good? Like, how are you feeling walking out of it? And like 9 times out of 10, I feel like people can't give me an answer, especially on Twitter. But like, let's be honest, it's the worst place to go to try to have real conversations about movies. A lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time.
I run experiments every now and again where like something gets posted on Twitter, especially if it's like a trailer or something.
Yeah.
I'll go through the comments. It's all hate, negativity.
Yes.
And then I'll go to YouTube and it's like all positivity.
Yeah, I know.
It's Twitter does certainly attract
It does.
this kind of environment, man.
Yeah, and it's a bummer because like I have just always valued the theatrical, and I think it's also because of my upbringing, because we went to the movies as much as we could. So I think I've just carried that on through my whole life. And I love going to the movies. It's such a fun, it's like a religious experience in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that I'm writing, that I was holed up writing in Burbank, it's not a workplace comedy, but it is about people who work at a movie theater. So I'm like, no one's ever made this. No one ever really like has talked about what it's like being a part of the industry at all, you know, let alone the exhibition part of it.
Yeah.
It might be kind of interesting for people to see, like, you know, it's obviously dramatically changed in 20 years since I worked there, but you know, we'll see. Maybe that'll get made into something. But yeah, like I love going to the movies so much to the point where I've done like triple, quadruple features sometimes because I'm like, I got nothing else to do. It's a Sunday. My laundry's clean. My bills are paid. Whatever. Put my A-list to good use.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that you're talking about the experience of it.
Yeah.
And with your upbringing, your mom was taking you a lot. What'd your mom do for a living?
She had quite a few jobs. Right now, she works in pharmaceutical.
Okay.
When I was growing up, she worked in hospitality quite a bit.
And she was always, but she would make herself emotionally available for you.
You have immigrant parents?
Actually, I didn't. I had a grandma. She died like 10 days after my dad died in 2013, and she's barely didn't speak well English.
Yeah.
But she looked after me when I was a kid, and then my other grandma was in New York before she. I didn't really have much of a relationship with her.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't have like the bond with grandparents. I didn't know my grandpas at all.
So immigrant parents they're fun. They can be really fun, but they're not as open as I feel like I've gotten the experience from like witnessing my American friends or parents who were like born here.
Yeah.
You know, they grew up very differently. So the interaction that they have with their kids are very different.
I'm first generation technically because my mom's Filipino.
Oh,
From
okay.
Philippines, yeah.
Okay.
So I get you.
So yeah, so like that, it's open to a point. Like there are definitely things that I would never ever share, but the movie thing was the one thing that we could like go and do and not have to worry. It was like an escape for everybody, which was kind of nice.
It's exactly what I was sort of hoping to get at.
Yeah.
Because that really dawned on me too the other day of like, yeah, that was me growing up. I can't really talk about anything, especially growing up. Didn't know how to talk about anything with my family. We just didn't know how to talk about jack shit. But there was a sense of unity when we watched a movie.
Totally.
There was like a weird thing of some type of emotional experience together.
It was a language that you all understood.
Like we couldn't do it at a dinner. We couldn't even look at each other in the eyes. But we could watch a movie together.
Totally.
And it sounds like you had a very similar type of thing with your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of times it was great, but sometimes it was like, yeah, we're just not on the same wavelength. You want to watch a movie? We're all on the same wavelength. It's weird, but yeah.
Your mom's still around?
Yeah.
And do you guys still bond together with movies at all? Or is that something that you don't really get to experience with her?
Sometimes, not as much as obviously not as much as I used to as a kid, but we try to do it, but it just, I mean, you know, it's a busy schedule that we have.
Of course.
You know, and now that I'm in San Diego, I'm driving, I was just here yesterday. And I went home and I came back today. So it's like just having the time to do that stuff is really hard.
How does she feel about the line of work that you've been in and out of throughout the years?
I don't know, to be totally honest with you. I feel like she has somewhat of an understanding of what I do, but then at the same time, I feel like she has no idea what I do. Because she's told people I'm a graphic designer for the last 10 years. And I'm like, I just interviewed Dan Trachtenberg, Robert Kirkman. I don't think I'm a graphic designer at this point. I think I've elevated just a little bit. So it's tough. It's a little tough sometimes because I'm like, be excited for me. She's like, yeah, cool, good job. All right, cool. It's good. As good as I'm gonna get. It's fine.
What's her? I'm trying to get a vibe of her personality.
Her personality is incredibly loving and incredibly thoughtful, but for some reason, when it comes to work expectation, I feel like her expectation is you should be in a 9-to-5, collecting a check, getting your 401k, you know, doing that thing.
Very immigrant parent. Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing that I've struggled with, not with my entire family, but some of my families. Like they just don't get it. Like doing something creative is a hobby, not a job.
Right.
And that tends to be really hard, to the point where like my girlfriend's parents will be super excited that I'm going to go do something or go somewhere, or I took a job doing something. Like I went to Europe last summer to do a job for Microsoft for 3 days. They were like, let's do dinner. And I'm like, why? It's not that big of a deal. But to them it is.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, because I didn't grow up in an environment where it was like, oh, you're doing this really cool thing. It wasn't until at one point I used to do visual effects.
Right.
And at one point I brought my family to the office to see what the hell we were doing. And then they were like, oh, I get it. It was like, I'm working on Shrek. And they were like, okay. No, I'm working on the first 3 Shrek movies. And they came to the office and they saw it. They were like, oh, so you are. Yes, I am.
Is there a sense of trying to obtain a validation from success? No, not anymore. You've had to.
I just stay in my lane. No. We're long past that.
Damn, interesting.
Yeah.
And your brother, you're still. I can't get a vibe of like the relationship with him.
Oh, it's great. He's 12 years younger than me.
Yeah.
But he's ambitious like I am.
Okay.
In a completely different way. Like he's studying to become a pilot, which I think was kind of terrified to tell us that, because he wanted to have like a whole sit down conversation with my mom and I. Because my mom was like, you got to go college. You got to get a job. You should go work in pharmaceutical, biotech, whatever. Because San Diego is big in biotech and pharmaceutical, which I get. But he's like, I don't want to be a project manager for a biotech company. I don't want to do it. So for a while, he was like software engineer. That changed his mind. Then he was like, oh, pilot. There's going to be a shortage of pilots soon because, it's the old generation's phasing out. So yeah, he started doing that. And I think he was a little nervous to tell us about wanting to not go forward with school and become a pilot. And I was like, go do it, dude. That's something unique that like not everybody does. And I think you'll love it. If you're already into it, go do it. Surprisingly, my mom was on board with it, because I think that was the person he felt like he was really going to have to convince, but he's doing it. So good for him. I'm happy for him. He's doing what he is passionate about.
It sounds like your family in some way, your mom must have done something right, because it seems like she's still breeded 2 children who have ambition and passion.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like aside from them, well, my mom more than anyone, not really understanding what I do. And I feel like not necessarily taking an interest in what I do. Everything else was great. Like I had a nice childhood, and if there were problems, they did everything they could to keep me out of them. So I was just blissfully unaware. And whenever stuff would come up, we dealt with it and it was fine. But yeah, like I have very little to complain about.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's unusual.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. So all that aside, like everything else was pretty great. And I'm pretty lucky with some of the stuff that because, sometimes we'd have an opportunity where, like my grandpa or my mom or someone would make a little extra money. We'd take a trip to Europe. Like not everybody got to do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Your grandpa sounds like it was such an impactful part of your life.
Oh yeah.
Is there a character that reminds you of your grandpa when you see a character? Is it like, this guy seems like my grandpa?
God, I'm trying to think of like who are the best grandparents on film, because that's literally like I'm trying to think like who I was watching something. What the hell was it? Why can I not remember the things that I've been watching recently? I was watching something and I'm watching. I'm like, this guy not only looks like my grandpa, some of his like personality is a little bit like him too. But I cannot think off the top of my head exactly who.
What's that personality?
Just someone who treats. I'm trying to think of like the best way to describe it, because he treated me like a son. He didn't treat me like a grandkid, but I don't know if like that explains it well enough. Because I feel like with grandkids, grandparents are usually not always, are always like loving.
Yeah.
But when it's like father son, there's a little bit of this sometimes. It's like you bicker and stuff.
Well, they're raising their development.
Yeah. But we had that, but it was never to a point where it was like uncomfortable or belittling or anything like that. It was always like with love, which I always really appreciated.
You call him grandpa. Did you ever call him dad?
No, he was always grandpa.
Do you ever feel like there was I don't know, I wonder, was there ever a bit of a I don't know what the right word for that would be actually. It seems like internally though you viewed him like he was your dad.
Yeah, for the most part, but I think it was also because he was kind of like the man of the house.
Okay.
Because we went through phases where we like lived with my grandparents, then we didn't, and then we did, and especially when he got sick, we lived with him and took care of him and stuff. So I think that's kind of like where the fatherly part comes in, where he's kind of like mostly taking care of all of like the bills and all that kind of stuff. And like, if someone needs something, he takes care of it. If something needs to be rebuilt or fixed, he took care of it. And I think like that's where I got a lot of that stuff was from him, kind of playing like that father role, even though he wasn't my dad, but whatever, same difference. It's like when you have a father figure that has such a huge impact on you, the title is kind of meaningless because he's kind of everything. He is kind of like almost like a mom and a grandfather and a grandmother and a parent, you know, like all that stuff. We would go do everything together all the time.
When you were having issues with limiting beliefs, did you have any of these figures in your life, mom or grandfather, who were able to help lift you up?
I did, but I would never go to them.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I would always try to figure it out on my own to varying levels of success, you know, but I also was really lucky that I've had the same friend group since I was partially from fourth grade.
Okay.
From fourth grade, but primarily from high school. So if I really had something going on or I needed to like confide in someone, I usually would go to them.
How are you with being emotionally expressive with them? Can you cry at a movie with them around?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah. We've had emotional conversations.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's like
It's never been a problem.
What movie have you guys seen together where has there ever been like a group where you're like, we're all kind of getting messed
has
up
there
right
been?
now? Yeah.
Did we see Up together? Maybe. If Up would probably be like one of those movies. That's a movie that I cry every time I see that opening. Damn it.
Because I feel like guys, like especially to go from fourth grade to now in your 30s,
Sure.
there's like a bit of trajectory of like the idea of like whatever masculinity might be. Back then we used to like in that age of for us there were a time where we would just call things gay. Like, that's gay. Like
I
without
literally
understanding what the context was.
I literally had a girl in high school who like years later, maybe like 6 years ago or whatever, we started talking online. And she was like, yeah, I always thought you and one of my really good friends is named Ryan. She was like, I always thought you guys were gay. I was like, why? Because you guys hung out together all the time. I'm like, yeah, because we got along. Because we were friends. I don't know. And like, yeah, my friends and I, we hug, you know, every time we see each other. Like it never even crossed our minds that people were like, oh, that's a little weird. Because to us, it wasn't at all.
So you guys were like, that's actually very unique.
Yeah.
For like, especially a group of guy friends to grow up together and to still be that kind of level of kinship where it doesn't seem like you guys were like, bro, about it.
No,
Awesome.
we really were not. And I think that's why a lot of people would gravitate towards our group. Like we had a lot of people who would like hang out with us because they liked being around us. Because I think we were just like, and women especially, like girls, because I think they felt comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, we were also kind
Group of gay guys.
yeah, we're a group of gay guys. We're a little chicken shit. We don't know how to talk to girls, so we're like, hey, you going out with us? We're fine. But yeah, I mean, I think that was a part of it. Was like they felt comfortable, so we would like go. I mean, we used to take my girlfriend when she was 15. She would come to Disneyland and Universal Studios and Six Flags with us.
Yeah.
Like, I think about it now as a 38-year-old adult. I'm like, I don't know what fucking parents would be letting a kid do that.
Yeah.
But her parents trusted us because like we would go over there, we would talk to them. We were pretty mature for our age, and we were kind of like, no bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to go to Disneyland. We're going to be back kind of late. Are you okay with this? Yes or no?
The biggest thing I've got from this conversation is how that intro that I was coming up with on the car ride over here, it has just been like so solidly reaffirmed through almost everything we have talked about. It's like I feel like we've just pretty much broken down those qualities of how you have become why you're so nice and a respectful human being. And it's like kind of honestly, for me, it's even a unique conversation to have with someone. Like it's a little bit unusual for me to be like, wow, I've never like done that. Like, now I get why this person is just so nice and respectful. You know, that's pretty odd. There's something kind of like old school about you in that way.
Yeah,
a little traditional value. Very Superman of you, actually.
Yeah, well, and I do think that like having a really close group of friends for so many years of my life, especially going through like losing a grandparent and then having to move. And, you know, they would come visit me in LA all the time. You know, we go do stuff together. I think that really gave me a reason to essentially not be an asshole. Like really nurture and respect the people who invest their time and effort into like wanting to do things with you, wanting to come and visit. Reciprocate that, you know, like for my 30th birthday, we all went to Europe together.
That's amazing.
We had a great time. Yeah. So
I've never done a guy's trip.
Well, we did it at that point. 2 of my friends were both of them married. One was married and the other, they were engaged. So yeah, they brought the ladies too. It was great. Yeah. We're not really guys trip. Well, that's not totally true. We're not usually guys trip guys. We like to do everything with like, bring your kids and bring, you know, everyone.
You were so kind.
It's fine. I like it. I'm like, bring everyone to the barbecue. Bring the dog. I don't care.
It's weird. I'm happy to have you in my life. I mean, if I'm attracting this conversation in my life, I'm like, maybe I'm growing. If I'm attracting this person in my life,
you guys come to San Diego, we'll barbecue, we'll do outdoor movie night. It'll be great.
That must mean I'm leveling up internally if I'm attracting this kind of individual in my life right now. So that's really kind of refreshing to hear. This used to be my opener on these things, but I'll ask it last. Who was your celebrity crush growing up and why?
Oh, I was like, is this question going to come? Because I've been thinking about this quite a bit. I have
5 answers.
I have three. The first big one I will definitely say was Princess Leia.
Princess Leia, okay.
Because Star Wars was the first movie that I saw in the theater that had a huge impact on me as like a creator. Because I was like, holy crap, I'm going to make those movies. Also, I like her. She's really fun. She's intense, but like gets shit done. I really like her. I like her personality. Then Laurie Strode in Halloween. That was a big one. Just because I just had seen Jamie Lee Curtis in so many things. Halloween, True Lies, My Girl. And I was like, I really like her. She's really has a really cool personality too in all the different movies that she's played.
To clarify, it's Laurie Strode, not Jamie Lee Curtis.
Laurie Strode. Okay. Yeah.
Why Laurie Strode then?
I think as a kid, I think it was a lot of it had to do with how she just treated other people. She was so nice to like Tommy and Lindsay. She got kind of taken advantage, you know, as you like rewatch the movies, you get older, you're like, you kind of got taken advantage of by your friends. They kind of like dumped all this stuff on you. But then she also like just was unwilling to give up at the end. She was like, no, I'm not going to let this thing that I know has been stalking me take my life. Like, fuck this. I'm going to fight back, which I was like, that's cool. And then what was the third one? Oh, Supergirl. For all the same reasons I love Superman, basically.
Yeah. Do any of these traits of these women remind you of your current girlfriend?
Oh, yeah. 1000%.
What traits are those?
Well, she's definitely a no bullshit type of person. Like if there's an issue,
like a Leia.
Yeah. If there's a problem, whether it's with me or with whatever, she's not a beat around the bush. She's like, address it head on. Mm-hmm. Like if we've ever had any sort of conflict or misunderstanding, she's like, we're not doing anything until we sit down and talk about this. I'm
sure.
Like, all right, cool. Respect. She's incredibly hardworking. She works a full-time job, but she also does stuff on the side, which is awesome. And she's incredibly supportive, like insanely supportive, to the point where I'm not going to cry on your podcast, but I might. Like the Airbnb that she got me in the last week, she got it for me for my birthday. She was like, I don't want to hear you talk about a script anymore. I want you to go write the damn thing. So I did. She came with me and we were there for 5 days, and I'm not completely done with it, but I've gotten like 25 pages done, which is more than I had a day before I came up here to write. So yeah, just incredibly supportive. And we live in San Diego, but she doesn't want to necessarily stay there. She's like, look, if you get a really good opportunity and we can move back, then we'll do that. Like, I'll follow you wherever you want to go with your career. I'm like, that's really cool.
She sounds like she's nurturing and makes you feel safe.
1000%.
Yeah, like a protector.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, you've named 3 protectors. Supergirl, Leia.
True.
And hell, even Laurie Strode's protecting a little boy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you're drawn to protect.
Yeah.
Which on the Freudian level, I would say, your mom as a single mother in her own way as a protector and a survivor on her own.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
as someone who's a fan of Supergirl, let's really end it on this one. What can you? I think people often. I finally read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Like I finished it a little bit after. I started and I finished it before my second viewing of Superman.
Oh, nice.
And I really loved it. That was great. And it was the first time I was like, oh, I actually get Supergirl. And then I read the Brainiac Jeff Johns run, and I was like, oh, I'm really starting to get. I'm like really understanding the Supergirl personality and stuff, and what makes her special and different from Superman. What would you say to someone who to explain that they're not just female Superman?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, I think even just the journey of the character, you know, like depending on what you read or what you watch, the journey of how she becomes Supergirl versus how he becomes Superman is very different in different times of their life. So the life experiences that they go through are very, very different. But I think generally, this is kind of my stance with any comic book character who is a female version of the superhero, is like there's so much context and there's so much nuance and differences in those characters that I think it's really important to explore them, first of all, and to consume as much as you can about those characters. Because I think you could easily get into one page of any iteration of Supergirl, usually, and it'll be very vastly different from Superman.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing I think I love, and why I was always drawn to comic book characters, is that it didn't matter if all of them were wearing a bat symbol, they were all so unique. If they all had a crest, an S crest, they were all like, John is different from Kara, is different from Clark, is different from Lois when she's Superwoman. You know, they're all so unique and different. So I think that's what I love about characters like Supergirl, is like, I can have a very different experience reading a book about her as a character, you know?
My imagination is saying something along the lines of, your mom is the Supergirl who raised the Superman. Like, in terms of like, I imagine, I don't know your mom's backstory, but I imagine there must have been some hardship to be in the position that she was in to land here, and then
she's been through it,
and then raises like a Clark Kent type who's like, I had a pretty good childhood actually, all things considered, and I really believe in like doing the good thing and the right thing instead of what's
Greg.
right.
So much so that when I was a kid and I would go on the soccer field, I would do Superman poses, and my mom would be like, "What are you doing? We're in the middle of a game." I'm like, I'm bored. I'm gonna go home.
She's the Supergirl and you're the Superman. Hell yeah. I think we found a good closer right there. That's awesome. Adam, my friend. You can find Adam, of course. Adam, oh shit. I thought I would remember it. Hlavac.
Nailed it.
You know, John's got the memory of how to, he's really good at remembering people's names and how to pronounce it. It's one of his skills that he brings to the table here. Adam Hlavac at Heroes Reforged. Great reaction channel. Slowly becoming more popular than us.
Very slowly, trust me.
This game
had a snail's crawl.
Fucking Robert Kirkman and Dan Trachtenberg and Simon Pegg. Just fucking bullshit. Fucking assholes. God damn.
Well, I had a great time.
Sure you did, Superman.
No, this was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I got to do this, and I'm glad I'm hoping, I was thinking about this on my drive. I'm like, we really need to go do something else that's not us trying to monetize. But that's really hard.
What? No, absolutely. Like, we sat next to each other in Interstellar, and that was like the most of like, we're here talking without camera.
I know. I think you even made a joke like, should we be recording this?
Yeah. No, I would love that. My wife Olivia, we've been talking about going to San Diego actually. And your girlfriend actually sounds fucking awesome. And it sounds like their personality types would actually mesh. Let's watch a movie together.
We'll barbecue.
That we're vegetarian. You will make us Beyond Meat.
Easy peasy.
I feel like I could learn some I could adopt some like there's certain things about.
You haven't
like,
talked to my girlfriend yet, so I don't know if you want to be saying all that.
I have like I have a lot of confidence in a lot of areas, but then there's other parts of me that's super cynical. And then there's areas where I feel like you can be cynical about yourself, but then you have like this confidence and positivity in areas that I don't have. And I'm like, I think there's some like puzzle pieces we can learn from each other here that I've been picking up on. Like
we just complete the puzzle.
I really do think so. Yeah, we got to wrap this up, and you got dinner to go to. So Adam, thank you for being here. Follow him on Heroes Reforged and on social media. And yeah, let's actually hang out because Conan O'Brien needs a friend. Let's hang out.